So, everybody, welcome back to Life with Zach. Today, I wanted to talk about a recent trip that I took to see the Salem, Virginia Red Sox play at their baseball field. All right, so I really like to go watch baseball games, especially minor league baseball games, because I feel like they're a lot of fun compared to some of the major league games. And I wanted to share my experience of going down to this field. This is actually the third time that I've been there, the first time, though, in probably about 10 years. So I thought maybe it was time to give an update on what the Salem Red Sox game was like, what the field was like, what the stadium was like, and what you'll enjoy about it. All right, so first of all, where is Salem, Virginia? So Salem, Virginia is located in the southwestern part of the Commonwealth of Virginia, near the big city of Roanoke. It's a city itself, probably around 10,000 people. It's actually pretty quiet, but it does have a lot of really cool amenities like really nice downtown. There's a college, Roanoke College is located there. There's a nice little museum. There's a bunch of restaurants and stuff that you'll really enjoy. So if you're going down for a game in Salem, be sure to check out some of those. Be sure to stop by, get something really good to eat. There's a great place called Back and Bob's that is a local place on Main Street in Salem. And I think you'll enjoy taking the time to go down and visit. Now, the Salem Red Sox is a single A minor league team that, of course, is associated with the Boston Red Sox. And they've been associated with the Boston Red Sox since 2009. But the team itself is much older. I think it dates to about 1947, and it's gone through a bunch of affiliates. So the Red Sox, the Giants, um, the Pittsburgh Pirates, a whole bunch of different teams. But I think they have a pretty good thing going with the Red Sox. And I know they've been to a couple championship games and stuff. So the field itself, to start off with, what is the place we're going to? The field in the stadium. So the field is owned by the city of Salem. It's a municipally owned stadium that's used for a bunch of different things. So the local college plays there, the high school teams play there, and of course the Salem Red Sox play there. And Salem has this kind of reputation of being a sports town. So they have not only the Salem baseball field or baseball stadium, but they also have a big football field next door that they built to hold a whole bunch of championship football games for colleges and stuff. And then they have this huge complex of little league and fields and softball fields where they host all kinds of like NCAA, Virginia High School League, and Little League championships and all types of tournaments and things that they have going on. So this stadium is pretty well thought out. It was pretty well planned because, again, Salem has and wants that reputation of being a sports town. So it's set up really nice. The seating and stuff is excellent. And the stadium itself is really well laid out. I don't think there's a place you can go and not see what's going on. All right. So, what are some of the amenities of this really nice stadium? All right. So first of all, is parking. Parking is really easy. It's located right beside the field. There's a huge parking complex that goes with the baseball field, the football field, and the Salem Convention Center. So because all of this parking is right there, right together for all these different places, and very rarely do they have anything at the same time, there is an overabundance of parking. So, the seating here is probably in excess of 10,000. It's probably close to that, somewhere probably between 10 and 15,000. But you are not going to have an issue with parking because there are parking spaces everywhere. Now, they do have the closer spots, of course, are reserved for handicap and season ticket holders and VIPs and things like that. But there's plenty of really close parking. We went down for a game, and they actually had a rain cancellation the day before, so they played a doubleheader. But we got there about 20 minutes after the first game started, and maybe had to park 2,000 feet away from the main entrance because all those people were already there for the first one. But had we not, we would have parked much closer. And even 2,000 feet, I mean, when I go see a Major League Baseball game, good luck with parking, okay? Or some of these other minor league games, good luck with parking. And the good thing with this is not only is the parking close, but it's free. Okay, you do not have to pay for any type of parking. It's all a part of this complex, and it's a flat, just walk right in through the parking lot. So you will not have any issues with parking. Going in, there was no lines at the ticket stands. We were easily checked in. They take printed tickets. They take the tickets they actually print themselves or ones you print off the computer. They'll even scan your phone. They have will call. They have tickets for sale there. I've never had an issue with getting tickets there. When I've gone in the past, this time we did order in advance because I wanted tickets behind home plate. Okay, but I've never had an issue with anyone finding tickets there. Okay. So you're able to check in pretty easily. They have a really nice team store. You'll see a couple things for sale when you first go in, but if you go in the entrance and take a left, go down just a little bit on the concourse behind the seats, they have a really nice store that actually is open. I learned some during the week. So you can actually go in there and buy stuff during the week if you're just in the area. But they have everything that you can imagine for a minor league team: t-shirts, hats, bats, um, stickers, um, socks. I mean, anything you can think of if you're into Salem Red Sox or minor league stuff. And it's really creative things. So there's some really creative logos, really creative stuff. I mean, my wife bought this decal that I thought was really cool. And they had a whole bunch of selections of those, the t-shirts and stuff. So you'll find what you're looking for if you want anything at the store. Also on that concourse, both right and left, are a variety of food and drink places. Okay. So when you first go in, there's a really large, like beer garden area, um, that actually has like a little auxiliary place selling right beside it that you can get all types of draft beers. I think there were like 12 different uh, choices when we were there. And then on either side of that, built into the stadium, are two food places that sell like your typical stuff: sandwiches, hot dogs, hamburgers, pretzels, everything you can think of, ice cream, all those stuff. And then if you move farther down the right and left, there's actually places that open out towards the stadium that sell food as well. And then all the way at the end, there's two additional ones. And then sometimes there are two places that are open on the very edge of the seating area, all the way on the right. There are just some like little corner places that have just a smaller selection of beer and food, kind of on an outdoor seating area. These were not open this time, I guess, because there were a bunch of signs that they were having trouble with staffing and things because of the pandemic. But those are open a lot of times, and if you're sitting near that, all the way at the end, they're really good places just to stop by and grab a beer or whatever. They also have wait service in the area around home plate that I will say was excellent. They were right on top of things. They brought us our food right away. So you'll have no trouble finding food or something to drink while you're there. Restrooms, there were two sets of restrooms that we found, one about halfway down on either side of the concourse. They were nice and clean and everything. The one issue I did find was that the way they built the floors, when the floors got wet, and they did get a little bit wet. I mean, you're at a baseball game, water comes out of the sink and stuff. They are incredibly slippery. So watch out for that. But, I would have no problem using the restrooms. And then the seating itself. I talked about the seating here. It's super nice because what, Salem put the time into it to design things. So number one, the regular seats are incredibly comfortable. They're your regular like bleacher type seats, but they are really nice. They're wide enough, they're big enough. No one's sitting on any grandstand type things or anything like that you do at some places. And then behind home plate, they actually have nicer like mesh seats, and I guess the fancier area, that were really nice. They could breathe. They were incredibly comfortable. But even if you're sitting way up in the cheap seats, those were nice seats. I've sat up there before, and you're not going to have an issue with seeing. Okay, the way this stadium is designed, no matter where you're at, you have really good seats. Okay. Like I said, we sat behind home plate. You could see everything. There wasn't anything in the way. The net was there, but it wasn't blocking your view. I've sat on both the first and third baselines, down low, up high, and the view and everything is just great. Um, of course, the farther away, it does get a little bit smaller, but it is really easy to see, and you're not going to have an issue with wherever you end up sitting. And I'll tell you, tickets here are pretty cheap, in my opinion. We paid $15 to sit behind home plate, which is the most expensive, and they go all the way down to $5, or at least they did at this game. All right. So what about the game itself? You're going to see the game. All right. So number one, the teams. Okay. I have never been to a Salem Red Sox game where the teams were lousy. All right. I mean, obviously sometimes like a blowout or whatever, but you see some really good baseball here. The minor leagues does a good job. That the teams that they play are really good. Um, and their conference and stuff is really good. So you'll see some really good baseball. And I really enjoy minor leagues because you don't have that obsession with like pitching and velocity and hitting and stuff where it's almost getting a little bit boring. You still see defensive plays, you still see strategy, you still see, people catching the ball and throwing the ball and making plays and bunting and all that, that you don't see as much at the major leagues anymore. So we saw a guy who on his first pitch bunted. He did a great job. He bunted it short and he made it to first. We saw creative plays. We saw use of strategy and stuff. So and the teams were pretty equally matched. We saw that doubleheader. Salem lost the first game, but won the second game. And there was excellent baseball. The crowd, they get really into it. And they're incredibly friendly and things. We didn't meet anyone here that we had issues with. I mean, no one acted up. No one was out of line or anything like that. And we were talking to people. We actually sat with some scouts who were there. We were able to talk to them. We talked to the people sitting around us. With all these conversations of people that don't know each other going on. You don't have to deal with overly loud people. People are respectful. They're polite. They know the rules of going to a game. And I'll say, like, the announcers are great. You could hear everything. They had like these special events during the game with like these cool races and all that's really family friendly and stuff. So I'll say that the game itself and then everything else that was going on was just tremendous. I really enjoyed being able to go see the game be played here, and I think you'll get a lot of it if you go. And to wrap this up, the other thing that's always important to me is how easily was I able to get out of the stadium. Okay, because I don't like going to a major league game and sitting there for like an hour after the game's over trying to get out. And I'll say it was nowhere close to that. We waited until the game was over. I stopped and went to the restroom on the way out. And we still just like went right out. There were no lines getting out. The pedestrian traffic flowed great. We walked straight back to our car. Like I said, we were a little farther away than other people. We got right in the car, came right out, and left immediately. Like, I don't even think we had to wait, but for maybe 2 or 3 cars to turn out because the parking lot, everything is so spread out and so well designed. And then the connectors onto the road are so good that you're not going to have any issues at all getting out of here. We were out of there in 10 minutes, and that was with us making a stop and then finding where the car and stuff was. The only complaint I have about that is the parking areas didn't have any identifiers. So it did take us a minute to remember where the car was. Be nice if there were, like row A, stuff like that. You see it's in bigger places. But even that wasn't too much of a hassle. So you will not have any problems exiting it. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the Salem Red Sox baseball game that we went to, their stadium, all their amenities and things. I think if you want to go check that out, you'll really enjoy it. You'll really have a great time. If you're in the area, it's definitely a stadium that you need to stop and see a game or two or how many ever you want, if you're like me and enjoy baseball. If you like this video, hit like, leave a comment with about this stadium, any others you think we should visit. Subscribe to get other videos about everything that's going on with me that I like to post about, and hope you have a great day.